can say in Turkish. I'm sorry for that. Merhaba. But it's very exciting to be here, and we had some technical problems which are solved now. Brief introduction. We have a small practice in Munich, independent architectural lighting designers. We are working on a global basis, and I have a collection of projects, but that's not the only purpose I'm here. I want to speak about reflection. Everybody is speaking about light. Light in architecture, of course, is very important. But basically what you see, why you can see me, is because of the reflection. You can see that's a blue suit. It's a white shirt, which is a very good reflective gray. And now I got a picture. Great. Instead of making presentation of the work we did, I want to speak about this theme or this issue, which is quite important for us, quite important for our work. And as probably most of you know, reflection is basically very simple issue. We just see if this is the pointer. Incoming beam angle is equal to outgoing beam angle. So that's basically it, and this we have to consider all the time. If we go, can we dim these lights down a little? I think because I'm not the one who is reflective here. If we start in our environment to watch what we can see, what's around us, and you look at nature, you can see a lot of principles, not all, but basic principles of what we are doing as lighting designers with most of the projects. You see this beautiful valley, and it tells us a lot. It tells us, first of all, it gives us a sense of space. The lighting that comes in here, defines the space. We can have layering. We have a focal glow. This is this crisp sunlight you see in the background. And of course we have a modulation of shadows, and we have contrast. We have diffusers, the clouds. If you have an overcast sky, it's nothing else than a huge diffuser. And it's actually what we call the ambient light. The play of brilliance, like Richard Kelly used to call it, is the sparkle, is the campfire of all times, like he said. Or it can be a chandelier in Versailles, a crystal chandelier. Play of brilliance you can find in the water, just like that. You can find it in focal light you have maybe in shop windows, in stores or in restaurants to bring out the tables. But you have also this. We have mornings like this or evening where we have fog. And basically what's going to happen there is it's the reflection of the light onto the particles of humidity. So all these tiny little particles are creating this atmosphere, which is quite nice and soft and nice. Color, you wouldn't see any without reflection. So I'm not speaking about color, that's another presentation, light and color, but this is actually, it's pure reflection. In the arts, people are using reflective objects, reflective surfaces, reflective materials with a purpose, a special design purpose where the reflection should go to, or what the reflection should do in general. Most famous, of course, James Turrell. I've seen this, or I took this picture at the Guggenheim Museum in New York City, and it was a nice video, by the way, the New York video. I like that. It's it's an opening in this Guggenheim Museum, and it's layers of fabric, like 4 or 5 fabric of a very, very fine mesh that is invisible, and the light that comes down reflects back and defines the space. A very nice effect. Well, this guy used reflection, you know, on his shows in an enormous amount. And in this case, light was really became really visible, because actually I've seen one of those shows, and I think it's like 10,000 watts. He could stand there just like a couple of seconds because it was too hot, you know, and then the light was turned off again. And he got some dust and he got some fog on stage, so this creates this, what you can see. You can see the light because of tiny little reflective objects, of course, again, because of the white suit. And but this is very seldom the case. In here, you don't see the beam, you don't see the light shooting down. You see it on the surface, you see it on reflective surfaces. Well, coming to more basic things, like this doormat in front of a hotel in Paris. I was just looking at it from the other side of the street, and I thought, wow, this looks like illuminated. But what's happening is there's one simple downlight above the entrance, and it's shooting down to this white marble. So the white marble creates a frame that looks like illuminated. The same in the subway station in Chicago. On top of this reflective issue comes here the orientation. The reflective surface is a yellow by purpose put there to tell you, I have to go, or I have to stand here or there. Light and orientation, another presentation. It works excellently. The people do exactly what these signage is telling them. Light can be magic. Sometimes you cannot understand what's going on, where the light is coming from. What's the technique? In this case, it's a piece from Cirque du Soleil, and I can just recommend to all newcomers or young designers, go to theater, go to shows, go to big shows if you have the chance. Maybe in the US, in this case that was in Las Vegas. It's fantastic what they do with light. But stage lighting is always, it's here. I got the glare, you are having a comfortable situation, I'm in the light. On stage it's the same. So it has nothing to do with architectural lighting, where we have to prevent glare from all points, from all visual angles, so you can walk around and you can drive around or whatever you want to do. We can use reflection to blend out certain surfaces or to create spaces. We did this as a box of approximately a meter by a meter, where you can look in. It's built, it's not a rendering. And we built this for, let's say, a large Bavarian automobile manufacturer. They wanted to learn about the effects and the phenomena of light in terms of reducing volume, making things light in the sense of weight. And so this is one of 12 boxes we did, and by having this huge amount of light here and this curved line, which you probably can see, it's just ending up in nowhere. So this is what we did with this box, was reducing the volume, and basically you have a box, you are in front of it, but you can have this, you can work with this trick to reduce the volume of the construction, for instance. In architecture, quite a big issue. Yeah, reflection, I mean, it's all over the place. It's speaking about retail or hospitality. You go to restaurants, you have beautiful bars in this wonderful city, and the light is, if it's a good light, you don't notice it, you just feel comfortable. And it's the reflection. It's the reflection of the right material, the color combination. Maybe it's by accident, or it's planned, or it's maybe just somebody who got a feeling how to use the light. I'm not saying that you need lighting designer in any project all over the place, but sometimes it's good to have one. In retail, it's almost like a theater nowadays. This is Dior window in Dubai, and they are using not only the reflection, they built this concave shell in gypsum, so that there is this sense of infinity. Reflection and infinity, interesting feature in architectural lighting. The facade of this store works with reflection. These are acrylic sheets. They are in a sandwich built behind the glass, and they are grooved. Lots of grooves, like probably with a computer drawn, and so there is light coming from all sides in, but only the way around, and it's going into this sheets and emitting in these sheets, and it's broken, or it breaks in these lines, so then you have this pattern. It's a reflection of the groove, which is matte, and the sheet by itself is transparent. So if we come to architecture in general, and you see this black and white picture of the sunlight coming into a space, you see, well, it's probably a wooden floor, maybe it's, I don't know, what kind of floor, maybe lacquered. Imagine if it would be red. If you have red floor here in this picture, everything would be completely different. You know, this glow, this reflection here would be really bright red. This, of course, would be red. Then this, and also this. Everything would turn into kind of reddish, pinkish kind of color, which is a very interesting, an issue you have to consider if you do lighting. Because next is a small mock-up we did recently in our office. This is a white light on a white table, and adding a red cardboard with the same light source creates a completely different atmosphere. So you know what happens here is that my shirt is not white. My shirt has a reflection from this wooden floor, but you don't see it. But in your subconsciousness, you feel it, and the overall image creates the space and the feeling of the people who are using it, working in it, having dinners, going up for shopping, whatever. When it comes to architecture outside, the reflection modulates the facade. Nowadays, of course, the facades are wild, like this one in New York. Sometimes it's just irritating because they are mirroring. They are not only reflecting. You don't know what is what. Is it just a reflection, or is it the real building? But you have to be very careful with strong reflective materials, also almost always because of the glare. We have terms like direct glare when I look up here, and reflective glare. So if there is a surface reflecting too strong. This is a project, actually one of my first projects in 1985, which is a couple of years ago, and this is one of it's basically the first project with this low voltage system. You remember, some guys of you remember with these wires that were, it was quite a revolution at that time. It was damned hot. Also, everything was burning all the time, so we had to manage. But what I want to say is that we did the entire design for this place. We did the interior design as well. And the white tablecloth, the white tablecloth on these tables, they are the reflectors of the light. And of course, you have a direct light above. So if you have your plate, beautiful arranged food on the table, the white tablecloth is a fantastic background, and you have a direct light on the food. If the food is like insalata caprese, green, white tomatoes, that is of course a great picture. All what you can see in this space here is all reflected light, and if we did some focal light, or let's call this display of brilliance for the flowers, and some direct light for the fruit here, this arrangement, and as a welcome or as a ticket when you enter the space. It's still working. It looks different, but the lighting system is a little bit like antique fashion now, but it's still working. That's a rehearsal space. That's a very sober picture, but the purpose why I'm showing it to you, it belongs to a large project we did in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. It's a new oak floor, and it's not painted, it's not lacquered yet. So what you see is, and you can see it pretty good, you see the reflection, the warm kind, honey kind color of the floor all over the space. So this is a rehearsal for ballet. All these girls dancing there are lit by or illuminated by this honey kind of color, and it's not white light. And this makes it also pretty much relative when we are speaking about light temperatures in terms of cool white, neutral white, warm white. As long as you do not consider where the light is hitting at, like the floor, which is such an essential basic in the classical sense, this will turn into something else. And I did not have the time to take a picture afterwards, but of course the floor was getting darker after the lacquer on it, you all know, and then of course the reflection on the ceiling changed also into darker. It was a dark brown. This is a light brown. And well, that's pretty interesting, I guess. And what did we did here? We have this project in Uzbekistan. This is what we call integrated architectural lighting. These rings, this is a space that's 50 meters high, and this eye on top is like 7 meters. That's from this corner until here. That's huge. And these rings were constructed or designed for acoustic reasons, because it's a concert hall and with approximately 2,000 seats. And what we wanted to do, we wanted to have the lighting invisible and using the reflection. Again, blue, white, red. In this case, we made really a spectacular RGB system where you could get any color you wanted. And this was during construction, integrating the profiles in this system, which was not easy and pretty high in a 56 meters high space. And it turned out, when it was finalized, it turned out like that. The entire space is able for the stage lighting designer to use it in the context with a performance. Usually you have concert halls and you have a stage lighting and you have the hall, and these are two different separate systems. In this case, the stage lighting designer was very happy also to be able to use the auditorium for his performances. We have another detail here, which is actually not a detail, but the wall is in parts is 10 meters high. It's a wall made in Korean. I don't know if maybe some of you know this material. It's a very nice material, and it's also grooved from the back. And the parts where we did not want to get the light through are black. And it was very difficult to design, that you do not see the holders of all this construction, but only these lines. Another project, you have seen this here on this picture. This is the subway station we finalized recently after 6 years of construction. 6 years from the competition. We won a competition with a team, with architects and industrial designers. And the reason why I'm showing this project is, okay, we have these containers. They are from the context of the harbor, same as you have. Busy harbor, lots of container traffic. So we wanted to use this or take this theme into the underground and make these color-changing light containers, which are containing light instead of, and I don't know, bananas. And of course, this elevation you will never see, because it's a tunnel, as every one of us is using almost every day. So this is a nice image, and it shows the color concept. But what's going on in reality in the station is that we wanted to use the reflection of the walls to give this space its feeling or its ambience. This is the competition rendering from 2006 we did, and this is the finalized station. Well, we used LED, color-changing LED, of course, and we have warm white fluorescent field under each of the containers. There are 12. And if you are entering the station, you look from here, you know, you have this long row, but what you see mostly is the white light on the bottom. But you know, what broadens the space and what creates the sensation is not the container, it's the light emitting into the space. Yeah, we have the white like a catwalk in the center, and then this color change, which was from our side always intended to be very slow, not a jazz or, you know, a carnival of colors, because in my opinion this is tiring and it's a bit too trendy. And well, after a while, if this is a public transportation project, I mean, you cannot do like it's not an art piece, you know. People should use it, and they should like to use it every morning. There are people commuting every morning from the same station, so our intention was to give it more as an atmosphere like you enter in the morning and you have a warm orange, for instance, for the day. You come back in the evening, you have maybe a yellow or a blue, whatever. And then there are, I can go back maybe and just show you, we had these parcels here. You know, imagine that they are moving. So you have like, you know, you have such a parcel of light, what we call it. This is again the traffic theme. So you're standing there waiting for your train, and all of a sudden there comes a yellow. So this was the intention, but it's still in progress, and it's still programmed, and they are having events there with music, which is very nice. And this is what it looks like if you stand right in front of and you see the reflection of this container. And I have a movie, and the music you can just imagine whatever you want. It's a test drive. It's not the real lighting installation, I'll call it. But you can just see it's moving. next project. It's Der Spiegel. It's a famous German magazine. Comes every Monday, and that's also a competition we won together with the interior designers. And it's again a reflective concept. We were lucky enough to say, oh please, let's do a light floor, that we can reflect the light up to all these tiny little mirrors. The mirrors are Spiegel means mirror in German, so it's a mirroring effect we wanted to create. And of course, if you would have a floor like this, dark gray, all these discs would be dark gray. Think about it. These yellow elements are larger elements where we wanted to structure the space a little bit, because it's a very strange ground plan. It goes like this, and all this was custom designed and custom made again. You see the lights up here, this one up here. They were custom-made LED downlights at that time, quite a task, because there were not so many manufacturers producing good LED fixtures. And that's the way it looks, and it functions. It's what we call the egg. This is the suspended fixture, and there is a central downlight, also shooting down to the table, and that's the entire lighting concept. Is these tiny little dots, all in a random fashion, all over the space, and we get the reflection to have this, to have this light of the floor on the disc. Speaking about reflection, that's a sketch from the competition, and that's another project in Stuttgart, Germany, where it's a canteen of a large insurance, where we have been asked by the architects to do something, and first of all we cancelled almost everything they had in mind in terms of quantity, because they wanted to integrate fluorescent lines in the ceiling and lots of stuff. So we said, but they wanted to have, and that was the difficulty for them. That's again a concave, soft shape, like a ball print. If you put a ball, you push in the ceiling, and they wanted to have this element which defines this dining area. There is another dining area. There is another one. It depends on the time people have for their break, or for if it's a meeting, if it's an informal meeting, if it's somebody visiting, So you have this almost like a train here, which is a bit, if you're in a hurry, and this is really the fine lunch, and this is more like cafe style there. So what we did, we created lighting, distinguished concept for each of these zones or areas where you will feel different. I mean, they were designed to feel different, so our challenge was to create the lighting that makes you feel all right. And again, a reflective issue is this tiny little thing, which was very reasonable, made by a carpenter and painted, lacquered with white heat-resistant paint. And in the next picture, you see how it's working. We have this downlight. It's a simple downlight in the center, and this disc reflects like 75–80% of the light back into this shaped ceiling element, and 30–40% or maybe less shoots down to the table. And the reason why I'm showing this is you can see pretty good on this picture. That's not professional photography. That's I did by myself. That's the reason why it's so yellow. But what you see is, what you see is that this smooth, very nice gradient is you can create only with reflection. If this would be a direct lighting element, you would always see the line somehow, you would always see the picture that the downlight actually is making. So, you know, a border. This is a similar concept. That's Olympic Hall in Munich, where that's the backstage area. And this is a combination of, again, light floor and light in terms of white light ceiling elements, which are in this case also for the acoustics. So, and you know, we were in the beginning working closely with the architect and speaking about all these surfaces. The best thing is, if you involve a lighting designer, you know, bring him in the team to speak about surfaces. You know, it's not about lamps, it's not about lighting fixtures, what do we do here, what do we hang there. It's a contrast here. We said, let's do this really in a dark gray so that the light fixtures are coming out, and this is structuring the space and gives this dynamic effect. And the only other element is this wall. All this space can be separated by walls that you can put here. So the smallest room size has then still six of these elements, and this looks very nice. Another example of reflection. What we did with the circles here, we did with baffles, acoustic baffles. We were designing for this project, also in Stuttgart. This was just photographed last week. That's brand new. Nobody has seen. These baffles are acoustically relevant for this space because you have all the hard surfaces all over. And acoustic, to me, in the meantime, is as important as lighting. If you have a good architecture, a nice space, wonderful materials, you have a good lighting, if the acoustic is not okay, you don't feel comfortable. Or you feel even bad and you want to leave the space because you cannot talk to each other or you cannot listen to anybody. For dining, for instance, if the acoustic is bad, it's a nightmare. We added to this large ambient lighting tiny little LED spots, of course, that light up the space, you know, light up the tables, and also in a random fashion. A residential project we do occasionally, well, most of the year actually, we are working on residential projects in all over around, and this is a private residence in Munich, and what we did is we did not integrate lighting so that you can see it. If you have a private space, you can work with less power, with less energy, in terms of, you know, you don't have to follow security regulations or certain lux levels you have to have in a public building, for instance. And this object is what we call the spirit of the house. It's a custom-made drop of massive aluminum. There's no lighting in this thing. The light is down here. Somewhere there, in a very narrow beam angle, it shoots up there and creates this, just a glimpse, just a touch of light. And the other feature is that in this piece here are two vertical strips with LED, which you don't see. You see only if you go up. Okay, and I mean, it's a family house, so people will know there's the light coming out and that's it. But if you're standing on the ground floor level where the photo is taken from, you see only this. We are working with a reflection. We are not showing, just have to watch out that I am not stumbling on this here. I'm a bad boy. We wanted to bring out the material, the wood in its warm quality by purpose. In this case, you know, it's a wonderful scene. It can be, of course, different. We can create crisp, cool atmospheres. We can add blue, like you had just this glimpse of blue on the ceiling. The blue is always giving you clear mind. Blue light is almost like daylight. So this comes in this case, in here from this side, but is supported also with a cool white LED strip at night. And what we did here is there is no lighting fixture at all. What we do here, we use the crystal. It's about 3,000 crystals in this sphere as a reflector. In this drawing you can see that we have a generous ceiling space up here, and we integrated the light, one in the center and a row of downlights all the way around in the correct beam angle, which was very, very hard to adjust the lights, because there was in this case it was me, standing like that all day with a walkie-talkie, and the other person on the ceiling, had to adjust the lights to set up all the lights. But what's happening here? It's not only reflection. It's what we call refraction. It's breaking. Every one of you know this, but this is another presentation. Refraction means that you can create colors by incoming angles, because you have, in this case, the Swarovski crystal that gives this incredible, breaks the light and creates these colors. Well, if you go to products, to retail, to, in this case, a showroom, you can see that illuminating a car is one of the most difficult things you can do, depending, of course, on the idea of the manufacturers and the photographer, which is usually one in the advising group. And in this case, we were using this like the light like a blanket. We just put the light over it. Done. Which is very nice to keep or maintain the design of the car. If you put downlights above this car, tuk, tuk, tuk, you have all over dots that these lights make something else out of the design of the car, because the reflection, the dots, first of all you have the dots on the car. You don't look at the car, you see the downlights reflecting, creating a reflective glare. Okay, you can make it very cool, like Jason Broods in this case with OLED, which I like very much, this picture. It's just, but this is not like you usually would illuminate a car. That's a piece of art. But this is, what was that car again? Aston Martin. It's an Aston Martin. This is a restaurant in Frankfurt, Germany, we did, and this is similar to this cafeteria you have seen. There are different areas, where we had to create an appropriate lighting. This, for instance, is again, more for the quick. It's a kind of fast food. It's a bit upscaled fast food chain, and you can see. And this picture, which is one of my key pictures, even if it's not very spectacular, but you can see that the contrast is the brother of the reflection. Can you translate that? This is a wall washing, pretty easy scheme. So we started with the lighting up here to bring out the entire element and a nice crisp white. This, what we have next to it, is an ordinary downlight, so we don't need light here. We have a downlight shooting down. The combination of both, the contrast, makes it visible in terms of the picture we wanted to achieve. You can illuminate these simple things completely different. You can suspend something, you can make a focal downlight on it, or you could even put a candle on this table, and you will have a completely different picture. This is really strong black and white contrast, like you find in nature. I took this picture last week in Beijing with 36 degrees, you don't see. But what do we have? We have a light floor, and we have the effects of light and shadow, which is again another presentation. And on top of that, we have the dark trees. They are not like birch, with white, which would take the light or reflect the light differently. No, they are dark, and this makes it so strong. This is, I think it's a very strong picture. We use a reflection to modulate, to articulate what the architect wants to build, or in this case, what the historical substance is telling us. We were adding this, that's a private place in a historical building. We were adding this profile, this one, made by a carpenter, and put the light in. And this is, there are lots of those columns, it's a huge space. That's the ambient lighting. So we added, of course, some more fixtures. We have decorative lighting, but I'm not speaking about decorative lighting tonight. Well, maybe this one. This is a gallery for jewelry in Uzbekistan. And the only light object, the only lighting element is this free form that was really sketched like this on a piece of paper, on tracing paper, and then custom made for this space. And this, what we have, of course, which is very seldom, we have a highly reflective space, all in polished stainless steel, which is a nightmare for a lighting designer. So, but we did not want to hurt this shell. Where are we? We did not want to drill any hole in the ceiling, to bring then light out there. So what we did is just this line, which is dimmable, very nice, and it's planned like that. Oh, sorry. That where we are. That it has, of course, the reflection in the space, so it's multiplying image. A public passage in Munich, which is has been finished, I think, in 2006 or 7, and the architects asked us to do the lighting, and we said, why don't do a handrail? They did not need a handrail. They could build this without handrail. So what was, where to put the light? We added some lines, you can see here, but they are not providing light. This is, in this case, really decoration. I'm honest. And we said it would be great to have a central handrail. That's the key and only lighting element. We are using the reflection of the stair to create this atmosphere, without any points somewhere where you would see fixtures or where you would have glare. So it's totally a reflective concept. In retail, coming back to retail lighting in Moscow, we did this project a couple of years ago. It's a very masculine store for household appliances, household fitness gear and coffee machines and all very high-end, very professional stuff. And we did a mix of warming up or lighting up the wooden surfaces, and this gray, I mean, we left the gray like it is. It's just a gray. You cannot illuminate it, so you have it, you use it as contrast, and you light up the things that are important. In a store, of course, the goods, with two different lighting systems here. One lighting system LED for the goods and another wall washer for the back. That's the reason why all these pockets are so evenly lit. It's because we're using two systems. And in the meantime, I was thinking about reflection, I mean, I'm pretty sure that in Turkish the word reflection means not only light that reflects, it's also that you reflect about an experience, or you know what I mean. And I've found in English far less synonyms than in German, for instance. In German we have like a dozen of words that relate to reflection. I would be curious to learn, maybe somebody can tell me afterwards, how many words you would come up into your mind. Because it's pretty nearby what I'm speaking about, you know, that the reflection is one-to-one, the information for your eye, that is what you see. But there's always something more going on a psychological basis, or on a subconscious basis, which belongs to our field of creating lighting design, do designs on a perceptive level, with a perception in mind, and not only with a technique. Or even sustainability. I cannot hear the word sustainability anymore. We have been working sustainable from the very beginning, using as less energy as possible. But coming to the outside, coming to outdoor projects, this is a harbor in Bremerhaven, which is north of Germany. We had these beautiful brickwork buildings from it's I think 1400, very nice buildings, all protected, of course. And what we did not touch the facade at all. We did not drill any hole in there. We integrated all the lighting in the floor. It's all in the floor, and it's wall washing. At this time we were using metal halide because the LED hasn't been so far at that time. Nowadays we would work with much less energy. And you know, such a building, this is a tower of 42 meters. You can turn this with light in something like a sugar cake, which looks completely ridiculous. Also because it's such a big difference between day and night. What we do, or what we wanted to do in this case, we did not want to transform the building in something else at night. Of course, it has a night face and it has a day face, but let's have it look like, you know, like a nice building, and not something like, you know, you would have a torch in front of your face, like this. You know? This is personally one of my favorite pictures in this project. It's a place where people have a rendezvous. It's a place where the light plays such an important role that people can meet and, you know, sit outside, well-being, feel good, meet friends at night. And so that you don't have any glare, public lighting, street lighting or something around you. And again, it's a reflective concept, not only in terms of architecture or orientation. It's reflective also because of the green. You know, this gives like, it's a composition of different light sources all together that are working all together, and you are not going as a person, you are not going and sitting there, oh, this is a nice lighting, or this is a nice lighting fixture. No, you don't do that, and we don't want you to do that, actually. It's a little bit like if you go to the hairdresser, you don't want to have everybody pointing at you and saying, you have been at the hairdresser. Lighting designers and hairdressers have something in common, you know, in this sense. This is again this project I've shown before. We were using in-ground lines in this project. This is this casino with the baffles on the ceiling, and that's the outside. It's a terraced ground, so it was very tricky. And in this case, you have to be careful that you do not overdrive, especially if the space is not so big or not so generous. We did not illuminate this separately. We just taking the glow of this line, which is originally following this slab. We just take the glimpse of a light for this green, you know, not pointing up and making it too dramatic. Facade. This is a central bus terminal in Munich. We did, and it was inspired. The architects have been inspired by these ICE trains, high-speed trains, which is a very nice concept. And you see in this picture what we wanted to do, and which is one-to-one reflection again. We want to bring out the entire shape of this thing. It's 160 meters long, and it's aluminum facade, and there is this, like a banner, that's the passage level. There's also a shopping center in there. And we did just a wall wash of this orange, and we did a wide, very wide angle, like this. It was custom-made reflectors for this facade, because we did not get them enough distance, because we have main traffic here, main station, Munich train station. This is this project in Tashkent again, and we did not want to exaggerate this. Well, it's a matter of taste. This building, you can say. But all we did, we just uplighted these columns, and then put the circuits of the interior lighting on the outdoor lighting circuits, so that the building would glow from the inside, in addition to this very discreet facade lighting. If you look at this, and you have buildings all over the place like this is an ordinary ramp of a showroom in Munich. We can do a lot with light, you know. We can, I mean, if this is during the day like an odd gray box, you know, you can really make something completely different out of it. And you are all blue now, by reflection, by the way. It's strong. Light can be very strong, and this is also a reason why I'm telling all young designers, be careful in using colored light, be careful in using how much light in terms of quantity, and think about the qualities of light, which is well, I can give you here just an idea about the qualities of light. Reflective consideration, reflect about it. Another project in Munich, which is the small Olympic Hall. Reflective, one-to-one, you know, no light fixtures visible, no poles or stuff like that. But early integration of the lighting designer into the construction team, in the planning team, because this you cannot do afterwards, you know. This has to be considered in the drawing of the architect from the very beginning. Otherwise you cannot make it, because you don't want to apply a profile which looks stupid. Yeah, and going a bit further down in terms of reflection, underwater everything is changing. You know, underwater all light disappear, all color turn into blue. The best you can see is white and yellow. It's a couple of years ago I took this photo underwater, and I'm still loving it, and it's just the reason why I'm showing it, you know. This is in Las Vegas. This is a lake, and it can change color, but it was already in the 90s, somewhere in the beginning of the 90s. And what's happening here? I mean, if it's a lake, even if the water is maybe like this, it's not much. How can you get this effect if the water is transparent? How can you, if you illuminate a window, what's going to happen? You would see maybe fingerprints or dirt, but nothing else. They put oxygen in this pool with thousands of tiny little outlets. On the bottom of the pool, there's oxygen coming out. So the oxygen makes bubbles all over. And the bubbles are reflecting the light, you know. Otherwise you wouldn't see it. Yeah, I'm coming to an end. I hope this was inspiring. I'm showing you this picture because this is a worker who was building his own sunscreen on the construction site, and there was one. And after a while there were 2,000, and they were all going around with this thing. And the reason why I'm showing this is listen carefully to the workers. They are not only the workers that are executing your ideas, many of them have brilliant ideas you should communicate with. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Şeyi de alabilir miyim? Kulaklığı. Açık mı? Can you put that for the translation? Çok teşekkür. Can you hear? Okay. Çok teşekkürler Gerd sunum için. Kısa bir soru cevap bölümü yapmak istiyoruz. Sorularınız varsa Gerd'e sunumla ilgili ya da başka merak ettiğiniz konularla ilgili şu anda konuşma vakti. You explain everything so well. There's no question. One question over there. No, one question there.
Merhaba, teşekkürler. Ben Esra Tekkaya, mimarım. Sunumunuzdan gerçekten çok etkilendik, çok güzeldi. Benim sorum şöyle, çok güzel projelerinizi izledim. Televizyondan izlediğim kadarıyla İsveç'te bir buz otel projesi var. Orada bir çalışmanız da oldu mu veya olmasını ister misiniz? Çok etkilenerek izliyoruz oradaki ışıkla yapılmış mimari detayları.
Yeah, I think I have seen this, but it's not one of our projects.
Oradaki projede şöyle her sene yenilendiği için her sene farklı mimarlarla ve aydınlatma tasarımcılarıyla çalışıyorlar. Sizin de çalışmış olabileceğinizi düşündüm ama bu sunumda göremediğim için muhtemelen çalışsanız zaten izlemiş olurduk. Eğer olursa görmeyi çok isteriz. Tarzınızı çok beğendik. Teşekkür.
Well, thank you. Why don't we team up? Sure.
Ben bir soru soracağım. Esasında bu soruyu klasik olarak hemen hemen her aydınlatma tasarımcısına soruyorum. Sunumda da çok kısa bahsettin. İki nokta var. Projelerde ışığı yerleştirirken neredeyse titrek, korkuyla davrandığını hissediyorum. Genel peyzajı veya görüntüyü bozmamak veya çok aşırı müdahale etmemek adına. Bir burada denge nerede? Aydınlatma tasarımı, karanlığın tasarımı çok tartışılan bir kavram esasında. Senin dengen, projede gözettiğin denge nerede? İkincisi de bu dengeyi sağlamak için projenin hangi aşamasında dahil olmak lazım? Biraz önce bahsettiğim gibi Türkiye'de maalesef çoğu zaman bütçe ve zaman bittiği zaman aydınlatma akla geliyor. Güzel yapılar ortaya çıkarmak için aydınlatma tasarımcısı ne zaman dahil olmalı ekibe?
That's an interesting point. As I said, I was showing several projects Yeah, that's better now. I was showing several projects we won competitions with. This is those competitions, for instance, they are not they are not practiced in the US. I don't know how it's in Turkey. It's in all countries different. But I think you have architectural competitions. So talk to the architects, talk to the community, and tell them, bring us in, and do not ask us when everything is too late and the wiring is coming out of the ceiling. And in terms of balance, there is a lot of experience necessary right here, where you look at it and you need to have mock-ups, and you need to have the feeling how much light is coming out and what does it create, where and how and why. And it's working with light, and it's not on the computer.
Thank you. There's one question over there.
It's Hassan from Pitocco Lighting. It was an amazing presentation. Thank you very much. At your presentation, you told us the color is about the subconscious of the person who is in the environment. What about the function of the color rendering index? I mean, is it kind of feeling, or is there any meaning of real light?
I'm sorry, I did not understand the last part of the question. You were speaking about the binning?
I am talking about the color rendering index. You told us it's important to see the subconscious of people who are in the environment, and it's depend on the subject in environment. So what is the function of the real color, color rendering index, CRI?
You have to consider the color from both angles. You have to consider the color you are giving light to, and you have to consider the color of the light you are creating. That's what I meant, And we are mostly speaking in the industry, color rendering index. Okay, that's nice. That's important. Kelvin, absolutely essential. But who is speaking about the reflective qualities of the material you're giving the light on?
I have a question. We all know that LED lighting technology, LED, is electric consume friendly. It's ecological. But in fact, I read that which light is nearer to sun is much more skin friendly than the others. So fluorescence and old type of bulbs, etc., are skin friendly much more than LED system. So why do you? Which one do you prefer as a maybe in household?
That's a good point. I'm a friend of the light bulb.
Me too. That's why I asked.
I love the light bulb.
And I want to ask the warm white or yellow light, which we should choose?
I would say in a private space, this depends on what you do, what you want to do in the room. I mean, generally I would say warm white is in the northern countries. You have the feeling that it's a cozy atmosphere and you feel nice. If you go further south, even further than Istanbul, if you go to the Caribbean, for instance, or somewhere in Africa, you have like fluorescent light, which is cool, cold white, but outside you have like 30 degrees, and this is a different perception. People are not annoyed like we are by cool or cold lighting. But it's from space to space, I mean, I have in my home, I have blue spaces, but they are painted. Also the ceiling. and I have warm white. Yeah, mostly have warm white. I have bulbs and I have one line of cool white I can switch on, which turns the blue into a very nice strong blue, which is much nicer than the warm white light. So, but best is you can play a little bit and switch and change. But LED in a private space, the eye issue, there are so many things going on. Scientists still discovering what's really going on, and it's true what you are saying, that for the eye, it's sad that, because it's always flickering. The LED is always flickering. It's the same effect we know from the fluorescent tubes, and this is bad for your eye. It's tiring also. And if you use LED in a private space, I would recommend indirect. You know, somewhere hidden, and you use then again the reflection of the material, and then but not direct light. For instance, for reading light on my desk, I wouldn't use LED. Not yet. Sorry, Philips. Sorry.
One more
We're
question.
independent, you know. We're independent designers.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very beautiful. I'd like to ask, in your train station project, why did you use this kind of material in the ceiling and in the walls? It seems a little dark. I mean, if you want to use the reflections better, why the architects or maybe you chose this kind of material, which seems a little bit...
This one?
Yeah, it's...
This one. Yeah. The light, a light color would not have been allowed or possible from the client side because of the dirt. Every subway train brings a cloud of dirt into the station. That's point one. Point two is that this surface, this shimmering surface, is very subtle. And it shows also that you can, it's like a gun, we call it gun blue, like, you know, from a gun, this bluish kind of changing color. And it was made, especially, the steel was especially made for that. We had many samples to see that. And it's also that in this direction, and if you're standing right in front of, the light that changed the color is reflecting more discreetly and more subtle than it would be a light color. If it would be a light color, it would be very massive, very strong.
I meant maybe more diffusive color, but you maybe aim to, you know, create a more I don't know, the movement effect or something like that. It was a decision, of course, but yeah.
And another reason why we're using the dark surface is to not to picture the container on the inner facade. You know what I mean? If you have the container, which is a big thing, it's 6 meters, you know, it's a big box, like a container, 1-to-1 the same size. If you would have the reflection of this container on a light wall, you would have a picture of the container on the wall. And we did not want to have that. We wanted to have more like magic, you know, magic color change.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Oh, please take my. Oh, you take here.
I want to know how many watt and volt energizing are using in on reflection architectural applying project. You know, it is trend of the world reflection planning. How many volt or what do you proper?
I'm sorry, I did not get your question.
Huh? Volt. Well, yeah.
Where, here?
Reflection projects. Power. Electrical power. Volt.
Türkçe sorabilir misiniz? Türkçe sorabilir misiniz? Can you put it there?
Here.
Yansımalı projelerde, yani çok trend olan kaç volt veya watt tercih ediliyor? Akım gücü olarak.
Empire State.
For example, Empire State Buildings and the others.
This depends very much on the purpose or on the project. It depends on so many factors that I cannot give you this answer just like that. It's in general, I can say we can work with a low level of energy as long as we prevent glare. Because if you have glare, you have to increase the amount of energy you are going to use. This is what happens, by the way, in all our cities. That's the reason why if you look from satellite photos down to the earth at night and you see all these lights, this is spill light.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Maximum watt and volt on the Empire State Building, on the facade.
No, I don't know. I'm sorry. This is from project to project, has to be detailed, developed, and there is no, there is no value or an estimation I could give you right here from here. If you have a project, just contact us.
Empire State ile ilgili Philips'teki arkadaşlar yardımcı olabilir. Onlar projeyi yaptıkları için. Çok teşekkür ediyorum. Ayaklarınıza sağlık. Ufak bir kokteylimiz var. Siz sorunuzu kişisel olarak sorabilir misiniz? Çok teşekkürler geldiğiniz için. Ayaklarınıza sağlık. Çok sağ olun. Ufak bir kokteylimiz var. Sohbet etmek için bekliyoruz. Thank you very much.